Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed, and today we are here for Slow Stitching Saturday. And so as you can see, we have been stitching away on this little project here. Hopefully we will get it finished very soon. I just added another piece on to the border because it was just slightly short, and I put the wrong piece on last week, so I thought I'd quickly do that before we got on camera this morning, because technically I stitched it last week, so that was okay. All right, now let me just have a look here. I might just adjust the size of what I've got going on. Let me just have a look in the back. I might just get rid of that background and see if we can't change that, because that is, well, that's sort of where I'm going to have to be, I think, because I can't do it while I am live. All right, let me just have a look in my settings, see if I can't change that. Yes, I can. I can take that out. All right, look at me go, learning on the fly. There we go. That's a bit bigger, isn't it? It's a bit better. All right. It was set up for when I'm on Booktube. So, yeah, that looks much better on the screen. At least you can see what I'm doing now. All right. So, as I said, we are here for Slow Stitching Saturday today. We are going to be adding some borders on. I'm using a different camera today, but I'm not sure I'm liking the quality. But it's not going to focus in and out. The other camera that I have, it seems to be like freezing up every now and again, and it doesn't seem to do it in StreamYards, but it does it with my in my Zoom, and that when I'm recording. So I thought I'll try this camera. I do have the overhead lights on, but we don't have that ripple going on because I've got a ton of other lights around me, but it's still quite dull. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Does it look okay? I'm just playing around with different cameras at the moment. So that one that I have, I mean, it's great, but it zooms in and out all the time, and it can get quite frustrating. And I think that that's overheating it somewhat as well. So that's not helpful or conducive to productivity and all that sort of stuff. All right, so how is everybody today? Let me know in the comments how your day has shaped up if you're in your evening, and what have you got planned today if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, because as you know, we have lots of people from all over the place. So leave me a comment. Don't forget to hit that like button as well, and if you are new here, make sure you subscribe as well, because that way you won't miss out on any of the things. So we have hit February. And I had a little bit of hiatus in January. I was just feeling very burnt out from December. It was a big month. So I thought I would take a little bit of a break and just sort of regroup and all the rest of it. I haven't taken time off work as such. I've still been working and whatnot, because there's just stuff I've got to get done. And so we're back into February. So the Stitch With Me's will start this coming week, and so we'll be doing lots of different things. We'll be back to diamond painting. My arm's not getting any better. For those that don't know, I gave myself an RSI strain injury in October, I think it was. I did a massive canvas in a month, and that was really silly of me. I shouldn't have done that. And but anyway, it is what it is. It is what has been done. And so it is somewhat better, but I keep just straining it because it's my dominant arm, and I keep forgetting, because it feels okay to move around. It's not until I lift something and whatnot that I get a little bit, sore or whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to get back into it, because I've got a couple of half-finished canvases there. I'm not going to start anything big until I finish the ones that I've got. So all the whips that I had planned on doing in December had to be put off, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway, that's a bit of a woe is me story, but anyway, it is what it is. I'll be back to that. What days they're going up, I do not know. And at the end of February, just giving some channel updates, I do have to head down to Brisbane. So I'm going to endeavour to get the Patreon stuff up this week. And that will be all of February stuff that I'll be putting up. I've got a couple of recent reads that I'm just still in the process of typing up. I've got a block of the month that's got to go up. That's cut and ready to film. I've got some wool felt rambles as well, has got to go up, and the bags will go out early this month as well, because I won't be here when they need to go out. So I've got to get all of those done pretty much in the next week, because I'll need a week to edit all that stuff and get it up. Now, if I don't get it all up, I am coming home on weekends and whatnot to maybe I might be able to sort something out then if I miss something and whatnot. So I'm hoping to have a couple of little tutorials going up and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just sort of reevaluating the tiers and all that sort of stuff, just to tweak them a little bit, offer a little bit extra, take a little bit away from this and all that sort of stuff, and maybe even retire a level as well. So yeah, I've just got to sit down, and I'll be able to do that while I'm down in Brisbane. I can sit down and readjust that and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see where we end up. I've also got the magazine coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we've got 2 weeks. What are we at? The 3rd. So that should be out on the 15th. Providing I've got all the things in place. You know, things can be late sometimes and all that sort of stuff. But for the most part, the magazine layout is pretty, it's pretty easy. Not easy, because we still have issues and stuff like that with placement and content and, you know, adding extra things and all that sort of stuff. But I think we're good this time. So yeah, so basically I think I've got all my ducks in a row. So I've just got to chase up one thing, and then I think I'm ready to just start putting it all together this week. So that is going to be my Monday job. And every afternoon I'm just going to try and do a little bit on it and get it sorted and all that sort of stuff. So we've got lots of little things coming in and out. I'm editing a video of when I went down to the Bookfest and all that sort of stuff. So that will be going up in the Patreon as well. There are little snippets that I have put on my Booktube channel already today, because I did the book haul. So I didn't put everything up. There's, you know, there's little snippets and whatnot. So some of the stuff wasn't usable and whatnot. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, so I'm going to, instead of Mia coming here for the 3 weeks, I'm going to her this time. They've got their new place now. They're near the beach as well, so I'll be able to go take her down to the beach and stuff like that. I think the first weekend I won't be coming home. I'll be just staying down there, because I'll be going down on that weekend. So I won't be going down, picking her up and coming back and then having to drive down. I'll just go down and stay there, and then I'll just see how I feel the following weekend. So I will be trying to do, if I can't do a live stream, I will definitely do a slow stitching video and put that up, because I don't know where, like, I haven't been to the house. I've seen pictures of it, but I haven't been to the house. I don't know where I can set up. I'm going to take a table with me. I'm going to take my lights. I'm going to basically take my studio with me and my computer and everything, because I'm going to be down there for nearly 3 weeks. So yeah, and Nerily will be happy. She'll have the house to herself, but let's see how responsible she is. Can she keep the cats alive? So yeah, anyway, so I'll be down there for 3 weeks, and then, as I said, I'll come home on the weekends if I have to. If I don't have to, I'll just stay down there. We'll see how we go. You know, I'll still be doing all my live streams and stuff that I can. I've got little portable tables, and yeah, I can just have a setup, because it's so early in the year. I didn't want to pull her out of school, because, you know, she started off the year, she had a little bit of issues last year with behavior and stuff like that, but this year she started off with a bang. She settled into grade 3 really well. Can you believe it? She's in grade 3 already. My goodness, that girl is growing so quickly. So yeah, I just said to her mum, you know what, I'll just come to you, and then that way you know, we can go and visit Savannah on weekends and stuff, because Savannah will be back at school, I think, by then. I think she's got maybe 2 weeks or something before she goes back. to school, so we can catch up with Savannah on the weekends in the city, maybe go and do a few things. And yeah, so I'll just see how I go. I'm going to take my Kindle with me and see if I can't get it to connect. I'll take all the things that have all my books on it and stuff like that, and I'm going to take a few books, like physical books, with me. I'm just going to load my car up, and because I'm doing content and all that sort of stuff for Booktube, and I wasn't supposed to be going till March, and I was only supposed to be there for 2 weeks, but it's been brought forward to the 24th of February, and now I'm going to be there for 3 weeks. So, and I said, look, you know, I can't do any more than 3 weeks. I said that is a long time away from my regular stuff that I do and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I can't do any more than 3 weeks. As much as I would love to, I can't. So yeah, and plus I don't like the city either. So I'm like, But yeah, anyway, we'll see how we go. I might get down there and go, you know what, I'm pulling her out of school. I'm bringing her home. Can't deal with it. I don't like to go away from my own environment. So yeah, it's all right. Let's have a look and see who has joined us today. We have a Gail in the comments. Good morning, Gail. How are you today? How are you feeling? Susan is also here. Hello to everybody. And it looks okay. Good. Thank you. It's hard to tell. Like, I'm looking on my phone and it looks okay. It's not blurry or anything like that, which is good. So yeah, it seems to be looking okay to me. I'm pretty cool with that. We also have Nana Mona here. Thank you. Just found your channel. Wonderful. From I don't know how to say that. Saskatchewan, is that right? Canada. So I hope I said that right. So welcome to the channel. It's lovely to have you here, and thank you for leaving a comment. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, it's always nice to have people joining us from around the globe. And yeah, so welcome to the channel. Gets a little bit crazy here at times. We have lots of different things happening and all that sort of stuff. Another thing that is starting this Sunday is the cross stitch challenges over in the Facebook group. Oh my god, I cannot believe how hot it is here already. So yeah, so we are starting a cross stitch challenges this week. The first one will go up on in our Facebook group on a Sunday. So yeah, I'm going to get those up. They'll be done in the events, so you can find them, and all that sort of stuff. So that event will probably go up today. I've got a few little tweaks. I've just got a Google document that I've got all these ideas for prompts and stuff in. So yeah, I will start to put those together and probably get this week's event up, and next week's event will go up during the week at some stage. I'm thinking that I'm going to try and get them up every Thursday maybe. And then that way it gives you a couple of days to get your whip sorted and all of that sort of stuff. So those that are new here, this is a project that I'm doing completely by hand. So everything has been done by hand. So we started out with some English paper piecing, and then they've been sewn onto some backing fabric. And then I found this cute little fabric in my stash, and I thought that will make a perfect border. So I'm just trying to use up my stash at the moment. And yeah, and then they were sewn on by hand. And as you can see, I'm sewing the border on by hand. So this entire thing is going to be hand quilted as well. And we're just doing it bit by bit each Saturday. And I've still got to sew down two of the trees. But basically, we're going to do this every Saturday until it is finished. And then I'm going to sew on. The only thing that's going to get sewn on is the binding, because I will have to be going through so many layers, and I just don't think I've got the strength in my hands to do that. So because the binding is double fabric, and then you've got the top layer, the wadding, and then the backing as well to get through to attach it on there. So I'm going to use the sewing machine for that, because we want to save our fingers and everything. So that will be the only thing, and then I will hand stitch it on the back as well. And I am going to be doing a little bit of a different stitch on the back this time. I'm going to do a fancy stitch on the back. to stitch it down, which is super cute. I've been somewhat practicing. I'm not super good at it yet, but I want to finish this one off with that. And just a different finish for it, make it a little bit fancy on the back and all that sort of stuff, and maybe, show you something a little bit different. I'm sure other people have done it, but I'm just going to use some of the fancy stitches to do the stitching down, so you will actually see the stitching, which is going to be super cute. And I'm going to do big quilt stitching around the trees. I'm only going to go around once and probably just down the borders, just to secure everything in place, because I am using fusible fleece. So I might end up using batting, but I've got some scrap fusible fleece there, so I think that I will use that. All right, we've also had a Shabby Quilt join us. Thank you very much for joining and leaving a comment. Glad to be here. Your work is beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's such a lovely compliment. Thank you so much. Shabby Quilt says, lovely, lots of slow stitching. Yeah, this is my interpretation of slow stitching. Like, I know that some people do like little booklets and that have samples and stuff of their different embroidery stitches and everything. I've gone for the more, I want to be able to use it, like, instead of making it and just having it sitting with your sewing stuff. So my slow stitching interpretation of slow stitching is stuff that I can use. So we've got this table runner. I'm also like doing some sashiko things to turn into a quilt. I've got a couple of quilts on the go. I do have a wall hanging on the go, and all that sort of stuff. And most of my stuff revolves around either embroidery or something like this, where we're stitching the whole thing together by hand, just trying to take some time and slow down and just relax into our stitching and enjoy the process, and all that sort of stuff. So that is my interpretation. And I know that I have had some people say, oh, well, that's not slow stitching. I mean, everybody's got a different interpretation, like for me, cross stitching is also a part of my slow stitching as well. It's just got a different name. That's it. So, but this is where we do everything by hand. You will never, except for when I put the binding on, which you're not going to see the sewing machine for that. I will do that off camera. And last night, while I was with my stitching sisters, we decided that while we were chatting about the live stream, we decided that the red striped binding would be a good way to go. I've got some red stripes up there. I'm pretty sure I've still got some left. If not, I'll have some in my scrap, I'm sure. But just to match the little candy canes. So it's just going to all tie in together. So that is what I'm going to have for that. So I'm looking forward to it. We are getting closer to it. So very, very much getting closer to it. And like, I'm doing this all on camera, so you can go back and see where I've started this. And I started this in December, so you don't have to go back too far. And we missed a couple of weeks there because I was away and Christmas and all the things. So there's not too many videos, but it gives you a general idea of how long something like this takes. Now, you could probably knock an hour off, maybe even an hour and a half off overall, for me stopping, doing comments, having a bit of a chit chat, not stitching and all that sort of stuff. Because I mean, for the most part, I think when people make things, they tend to just get in there and get it done. But yeah, you might want to do this a little bit closer to Christmas or something like that. This is not anybody's particular pattern or anything. It's just I've taken a Christmas tree, some 1-inch hexagons, made them into a Christmas tree. As you can see, it's got a little stump down the bottom. I go through how I made that. And I've just gone through the process of doing this and taking you through the steps. I've also shown how to do how to put the borders on and all that sort of stuff. In the comments as well, there's been links to videos that have closer, much better close-ups of what I'm doing and all that sort of stuff, so you can go and check those out. Makes it super easy for you then as well. So if you've not tried something like this before, you can go and check out all those videos. I'm not an expert by any means, but I just know like what I like to do and how I like to do it and what's comfortable for me. Last week we had a talk about some of the cheaper fabrics and how they fray. You can see, I'm not sure if you can see or not, but this one is a cheaper fabric that I'm using, and it is fraying a lot. So I'm pretty keen to get this finished because I'm not even really handling it until I'm on camera, and then it is fraying. So excuse me, I'm wanting to get it finished sooner rather than later. So as I was saying, when I go down, I'm hoping that they have good good internet where I'm going. If not, I do have a mobile one that Savannah has. I'll just have to get some credit for it, and then I'll be fine, and I can plug into that, so that won't be a problem in that aspect. But yeah. So I'm going to try and do my live streams. I would prefer to be here to do them. But if I can't, well, then I can try and do them down there. And if it's not going to work, I'll just film them and put them up. So you still will get a video for it and whatnot. So this month as well, it will also see me do Quilttube. Basically, I'm going to get out my whips and all that sort of stuff, and basically start making some progress on them. So they're going to be like sort of vlog style and all the rest of it, and just going through what I'm doing and all that. I've just got to get my cameras all set up because I'll be doing it in different places than what I'm doing right now. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how I go getting it all done, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine, right? I should be okay. I mean, this camera here is on a boom, so I can actually move the boom and all that sort of stuff. So I should still be able to get some decent views of it and all the rest of it. I'm just going to have to think it through a little bit to make sure that I get it right. All right. Oh. I always do that with that first stitch. Go back underneath, and I was supposed to be on top. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun and all that sort of stuff. And Nana says, I'll go back and watch for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. They are live streams. They haven't gone for too long. We generally go for an hour. This morning we'll probably go a little bit longer because I'd like to get this next border on. But yeah, it's I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Like, I know that this is what I work on every Saturday morning. Like, I get up, I potter around, I get my coffee, and you know, it's, even though I've come and this is part of my work and all the rest of it, I don't feel like it's work. I've just come with my coffee. I've got my water. You know, I'm sitting here chillaxing. I had a giggle last night. I said, yeah, I'll be doing a live stream and I'll be in my pajamas. I'm actually not in my pajamas. I'm up. I've had a shower. I've done my hair and all that sort of stuff. And then I was going to see if Neroli wanted to go out to Memorandum Springs a bit later. And I said, oh, I've got a text message there because I didn't check my phone straight away this morning. And I'm like, oh, I've got a text message there. And I got a message at, I think it was like 5 o'clock this morning. Mum, I've gone with Dad to the Toowoomba swap meet. I'm like, oh, okay, no worries. I should have probably asked her last night. But anyway, that's fine. Yeah, so it's been a nice, slow morning. I haven't had to talk to anybody except for the cats. And they were being quite boisterous this morning, wanting their food. Giving me grief. I go out to make my coffee half asleep and they're like, meow, 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 meow. And I'm like, okay, just cool your jets. I've just walked in the door. So yeah, so I've had them and now they're nice and quiet. They're now lounging around like lounge lizards and whatnot. So yeah, I've got like a plastic covering on my kitchen table because my boy cat, like the girl cat, I've got this little cupboard that doesn't have a door. It's like a little nook in a cupboard where you can like store maybe like an appliance or something like that. Like, it's got a cupboard part up the top that has a door on it, and then it's got a couple of shelves, like a bookshelf with a cupboard on top of it. And it's only small, and I don't really put anything in there. I usually have my shopping bags in there, but I've put all my shopping bags in because I keep forgetting to grab them when I go to the shop. So I've got into the habit now of putting them back in the car. And she's black and this cupboard is brown. Anyway, the other day I'm like, I'm positive I just fed her and she was in the house and the door was closed. The hatch was closed so they couldn't go out because it was night. And anyway, I'm thinking, where the heck is she? And I'm looking everywhere for him. The male cat's in there, and he keeps getting up onto the table. So I've got this plastic cover over the table so he's not wrecking my tablecloths. And I keep showing him off, but he's being stubborn and he won't get off. So I just thought, you know what, plastic cover's fine. I can wipe that down each morning, disinfect it, and it's fine. And it's up the end of the table where I don't use. It's where, because we don't really, there's not enough of us here to use the big table anymore. So it's sort of just where everybody puts the mail anyway. It's like, you know, if you had a hub, that's probably where my planner would sit. If the kids were still at school and all that sort of stuff. So Brendan always knew where we were and all that. We used to do that because he worked away, and then when he was home, I'd just move it to the buffet. So no one really sits there or does anything there. So it's not a huge hardship, but it's just annoying that is there. But anyway, I'm looking for this black cat everywhere. I thought, oh, maybe she's gone out into the bedroom. I'm calling her. She's not coming. I'm tapping the food. She's not coming. Mainly because they'd just been fed. Anyway, there was a couple of bags on the table that I hadn't taken out to the car, and it was dark. So I've grabbed the bags and put them into that cubby hole. The cat was in there. I didn't, like, she was just curled up in a little ball, and she must have been, the cheeky little sod must have been watching me walk backwards and forwards looking for her, and could hear me quite clearly calling her, and all the rest of it. So she's found herself a new cubby hole, and she was not impressed with me when I put the bags in on her. So the bags don't live there anymore. I've just got to go and put them in the car, whether it's dark or not. So yeah. And then just before I went out there, it's also her daytime spot now too. So she likes it, I think, because she used to sleep in her little like, I've got a tower for them, and there's got a little cave bit down the bottom. She used to sleep in there all the time, but then the male cat started getting in there and like sitting on her and stuff. So she's just found a new location. And of course, he doesn't sleep in there anymore. He just done it to annoy her, the sod that he is. He's only young, so he's still at that stage where he just wants to antagonize every member of the household, including the other cat. And yeah, but she's found her new cubby hole and she likes it. And I think he also doesn't see her there either. And because if he can't see her, he meows. He just calls her all the time. And he'll walk around the house and he'll go into every room going, meow, meow. And I'm like, she's not in here, mate. Then he'll go out and you'll hear him walking around the house, meow, meow, around the outside of the house. And she just sits there, and she's a very quiet cat. So even her meow is really quiet. It's like her voice box didn't develop or something, because he is so loud. Like, he sounds like he's crying at you, but she just makes this little mewling sound, like almost like a kitten does, but quietly. And yeah, so she's quite, we narrowly called her Beans, but I think she should have been called Shadow, because she's always lurking in the shadows and whatnot. But yeah, she's just hiding out there now. So what's everybody's cuppa today? Do you have a cup of coffee, or do you have a glass of wine if you're in the Northern Hemisphere? I have a nice cup of coffee this morning. So I was so looking forward to it. I was pottering around, as I said, pottering around the house, and I'm like, I really need a coffee. So went and made myself a coffee. You know, folded up some washing and did a few things and set up this camera. And the colors aren't like the other camera actually shows the colors a lot better than this camera does. I do have that brand camera in a different one, but it doesn't have a spot where I can screw it onto the boom. So I've got to attach it with different means, and it doesn't always sit so straight. I tested it out yesterday, and the image looks really sharp and whatnot, but I think I like these better because they don't focus in and out. Like, I can move my hands and stuff and it won't freeze, whereas the other camera freezes. So I think what I'm going to do is have the other camera as my front-facing camera, and then have this. And then I think I might just actually move those cameras on and go and get some Logitech ones, because I haven't had any problems with the Logitech at all. And I do a lot of live streaming over on my Booktube, and this Logitech one never skips a beat. But if I start, moving it around and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to start having issues with it because, it's got wires hanging out of it and all that sort of stuff. So what I thought I'd do is I get a couple more of these booms, and then I will have them set up in different places, and then I can just get another Logitech, and like the Razer ones I have. The one that I used yesterday, that'll be fine as a secondary camera from a different angle. That's not a problem. But the one that autofocuses, I just don't know how to get it to stop autofocusing. And it really has a hard time if I'm moving around. And of course, I'm sewing, so I'm moving around all the time. Yeah, I'm just having a hard time with it, so I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear, I guess. So yeah, and we've got I think I already mentioned this morning. We have the slow stitching, not slow stitching, sorry, Stitch With Me starting back this coming week, which will be good. Now, basically, if you're new here, what I do is I just draw a line on the back of the where I'm stitching, and that's the line that I follow, and then that way I know my stitch line is even. Okay, and I just use a lead pencil for that because you're not going to see it or anything. And then basically I just I keep stitching along, and I know that my 1/4 inch seam allowance is doing okay. It's not going skewiff and whatnot. So yeah, and that's how I get them to stay nice and neat and all the rest of it. Of course, this is going to need a good press and everything once I'm finished, but I do finger press it before I move on to the next step, which also makes it a little bit easier as well. So we don't have too much to go. You can see here that I marked the wrong end. The fabric was up the wrong way. And I have no problem with marking my fabric when I'm doing stuff by hand. I mean, it's a lot easier to do by the sewing machine, but I just thought this would be something different to do. It's going to, something that I can say, I did all that by hand, the whole thing except for the binding, because that's just crazy. So let's have a look. Shabby Quilt has a coffee. Nice. Susan has a nice cup of tea. Love the little emoji there. That is so cute. And Nana has a cup of coffee. Can you tell me something? Can you tell some about your book channel? I subscribed there this morning too, so thank you so much. Yeah, I can tell you a bit about my book channel, not a problem. I love sewing, as everybody knows, and I love books just as much. I read a lot of different books. I'm quite an eclectic reader, so I read everything from the Victorian classics right up to present day stuff. I don't talk about all the books that I read on the channel because some of them are not PG. They're a little bit smutty, but I don't really talk about those. I have live streams and whatnot. I have a friend that I hang out with every Friday on the channel, and I can get a little bit unhinged. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. We're just sort of hanging out, reading books and all that sort of stuff. We do group reads and we do buddy reads and all that sort of thing. And I like to talk about books, and my family hate the fact that I read so much and I'm always talking about books or sewing. So I started up my Booktube channel so I had an outlet to talk about the books and everything. So right now, I'm in January. I was helping co-host the TBR-a-thon by running sprints and everything. They weren't co-hosts as such, but people put forward that they were going to do sprints. And sprints is where we read as a collective group online. So I'm on camera, maybe with some friends or by myself. We talk for a little bit, and then basically we then the camera goes quiet. And there's a timer that comes up, and we hyper focus on our book, or you might like to use it for productivity. You can use it for stitching. You can use it for anything. And yeah, so we do that 3 times a week. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is my new schedule, and sometimes Saturday. So today a bonus video went up today because I had gone to the Brisbane Lifeline Book Fest and with my daughter. And so I was showing all the books that I got. And so that's another sort of video that we have there. And then we have monthly TBR. So TBR stands for to be read. So I'll pick off a ton of books off my audio shelf, off my Kindle shelf, and off my physical shelf. Physical shelf is where I shop first. And basically, I will endeavor to read all of those books. So as I was saying, we do have readathons with other channels. I do a lot of collabs with other channels. So at any given time, yeah, I can be on sprints and all that sort of stuff is generally how we collab. But then we do readathons where we'll have a theme. So right now, for the month of February, it's Battle of the Girl Bands. There's 4 teams. There's 3 co-hosts on each team, and then one of those co-hosts is a team leader. I'm on Team TLC. There is a Discord as well where there's lots of people talking about books and all that sort of stuff. I do book reviews, and yeah, and all, like, it's anything bookish related I'm generally doing over there. I do reading vlogs. So this month I used to do it when I first started, and then I just got so busy that I kept forgetting to like film my thoughts as I was reading a book. So I've gone back to that this year because I knew that I'm going to be doing a lot of readathons and all the rest of it. So a lot of time there'll be just snippets of different times during the day and week and whatnot, or even the month if it's a monthly one, where I will be like just talking about the book that I'm reading. And it's quite funny every time I start talking. Like we had 17 people on the stream, and as soon as I start talking about books, this is why I made a separate channel. 7 people left. It's quite it amuses me. It really does. It amuses me because like yeah. But I don't mind talking about books even here. I used to talk about them here all the time on my Stitch With Me's, but as I said, a lot of people started to get a bit funny about me talking about books all the time because just to give you an indication of how much I do read, I read 208 books last year. So I always have either an audiobook going or I have a book beside my bed. I generally start my day by reading a few chapters. I generally end my day by reading a few chapters, sometimes a whole book. Sometimes I just get stuck in a book and I can't get out of it. And it's, for me, I use it as like a bit of therapy along with my stitching and sewing and whatnot. So I've really taken a step back in the last 12 months to 2 years, where I've taken a step back and wanting to slow everything down instead of just producing so much stuff all the time. I've taken a step back, and that's why I've started this. Like, I started reading again because that to me is slowing me down. Even though I'm reading a lot of books and I do read them rather quickly because I'm a fast reader, it's still stopping me and slowing me down. I do listen to audiobooks throughout the day. Radio has just got boring to me, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't really listen to music anymore while I'm quilting and stuff. But if I'm at the sewing machine and I'm making a ton of bags, or I'm making some needle minders, or, making stock for the shop and all that sort of stuff, I'll have an audiobook in. And I listen to shorter ones for audiobooks. So to me, that is still reading. I can still talk about the book. I can still tell you about the plot and all that sort of stuff. But we have a really lovely community over on Booktube, and we do some amazing things. And sometimes I think people just think we're crazy and they're there for the craziness. I do have a couple of people that come and join with sprints on the regular, and I do visit other people's channels on the regular as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've got a great group of friends over there, all of which I've never met in real life, and whatnot. And we do have a lot of fun reading our books and all that sort of stuff. And I didn't realize that when I started it. I knew that there was Booktube, but I just didn't realize the size of the community over there and how welcoming they were going to be and all that sort of stuff, because I've never been one to do book reviews or anything like that before. So it was quite daunting to me to, I didn't think I had anything to bring to the table or whatever, but apparently I do. So yeah. And this week we hit 800 subscribers, which was really exciting. There we go. So there is our first border, long border on. So you can see down this end where it's gone over. And yeah. So you can see that obviously this is going to need a really good press. Let me just hide that there. So yeah, so basically in looking forward to getting this finished, but it's coming together really nicely. I wasn't too sure about this fabric when I pulled it out, but I think it's just set it off. Like, even though it's a different fabric line altogether, this is just a cheapy little fat quarter that I had. And so, yeah, I think it's come together. And then, as I said, I'm going to put a red and white stripe, which is going to, you can just make out those little candy canes there, which is going to tie it in together. And the red is very similar to this red here as well. So yeah, so that is my my Booktube in a nutshell. Lots of different things happen over there, which is fantastic. And I really enjoy it. I love being able to talk about books and with people and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, and I've also made amazing friends. I've found amazing authors through Booktube as well, because not only do I create content for it, I also watch it as well. All right, so hopefully that answers your question. I also do book reviews, like full-on book reviews for books that haven't been released yet. And we do have our, that's on the lowest tier of the Patreon, along with the Cross Stitch magazine. And this year I'm looking to add a few little extras to that one, because I'm going to retire a tier. And because I don't have anybody on, well, I think that there's only one person on that tier, so I'm going to retire that and just drop it down to the next level, and yeah, just shuffle the things from that tier and spread them over the bottom two tiers. So then I'll just have 3 tiers over there. So yeah, so there is that is happening. And so, yeah, I've been reviewing a lot of books, quilting books and some stitching books, and also novels and stuff like that that are due for release. So, yeah, excuse me. And they'll start making their appearance, because I've been reviewing a lot, like they'll start making their appearance closer to the release date and whatnot. So I've already reviewed them for the publisher and stuff like that. But I will start putting them up closer to the date. So keep an eye out for that. We have a collection on Patreon that says recent reads, and that's where they all go. So I've been on the ball. I've actually I wanted to be able to, as part of my time on Booktube and all the rest of it, I wanted to review ARCs, which are advanced reader copies. So the copies that I have aren't completely finished, but the layout is done, so numbers might not be correct and all that sort of stuff, but I'm fine with that. I'm just basically checking measurements and all that sort of stuff, and making sure that it makes sense and that it flows cohesively, and then I write my review on it and say, hey, this is what I thought of the book, and I think this would be well suited to X, Y, or Z. So that's what I've been doing, and so I'm sharing them with you prior to their release, so you can pre-order them if you want to, and get them. And there's a couple of really good quilt books that are coming out in a couple of months, because they've only just been put onto the place to review. And yeah, so they're coming out in a couple of months, so that's going to be exciting. And yeah, so I have that sort of stuff happening. Also, I don't necessarily talk about those books over on my Booktube, because I just review them for the company, and then I just make a post about it on Goodreads, is where I generally post about those, because they're written reviews. I just I don't really do much of the let me just make sure that that is correct. I don't really do much of the talking reviews on those sort of books and whatnot. So yeah, there is a ton. There is actually a book that I've just recently got to review. It doesn't come out, I think it's in April. It comes out April or May. It comes out, but I think it's going, like, it's not one that I would normally review or anything like that. It is a it's a crafting book as such, but it's geared towards the Wiccan community, I guess you would say. So it's got some really good stuff in it, and I think a lot of people that follow me will really enjoy the content in it. So I've started reading it and going through it, and I got it. I asked for it because I'm interested in the content that's in it. So I knew some of the content that was in it, and I was really interested in it because it just gives you a different take than a mainstream sort of book. And so the pictures are absolutely gorgeous in it. The projects are absolutely gorgeous in it, and whatnot. So I cannot remember off the top of my head when that's coming out, but I'm pretty sure it is coming out in April or May. But I will definitely post that over in the Patreon on the $8.50 tier or the $5 tier if you're in the US, because it's in US dollars and that. So yeah. Hey Benita, how you going? Making dinner and listening. Awesome. Why are you hand sewing? I'm doing this whole project is going to be done by hand sewing. So this is Slow Stitching Saturday, is all about slow stitching and taking our time and getting back to our grassroots essentially. For this particular one, I have done a little bit of English paper piecing to create the Christmas trees, and now I am doing the borders, and I'm doing it all by hand. The only thing I won't be doing by hand is putting the binding on the front of it, but I will hand stitch the back, and I'm going to do a little bit of a different fancy stitch on the back to secure that down. So, and I'm only working on this during the live streams each Saturday. So we're just taking our time and enjoying the process, and relaxing and having a nice relaxing Saturday morning for me, or Friday evening. It's a good way to wind down for the end of the week as well. And I encourage you just to grab something that is hand sewing. I know you're cooking dinner right now, but I encourage you to just grab something that is slow. It's slow and steady, and that you just get into the rhythm of it and enjoy the fact that you can take this everywhere with you. You can just put it into a little project bag, and you could take it with you if you're waiting for an appointment. You can get it out and, add a couple of stitches in, and all that sort of stuff. So once I get this final border on, I will then be doing some big stitch quilting. I will iron on the fusible fleece, give it all a good press and all that sort of stuff. And then I'm going to do big stitch quilting around the outside of the Christmas trees. And I'm going to endeavor to do that about 1/4 of an inch away from the, that's just not on. That's not on. All right, I just got a big knot in there, and I'm not going to be able to get it out. It won't come apart. Where is it? Let's see if I can get it to, oh, yes, maybe. Yes, got it. I hate it when you get those knots and you can't get it undone. Just upsets the rhythm of the stitching. So yeah, that is why I am hand stitching this. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I've never made anything from scratch like this before, where it's just all done by hand. I think it's a wonderful idea to do that. Like, I have done like embroidery, a sashiko piece, and then I sewed the borders on by hand, but I've never made an entire piece, like where I've just had bits of fabric, and I've actually turned it into something. And a lot of people do, I was saying earlier, a lot of people do slow stitching Saturday, where they do like a little booklet and they'll add lace to it and they'll add fancy stitches and all that sort of stuff. And while I I like the look of that, and I would love to do that one day, and probably will do that one day, I'm a little bit more practical than that. Just having something that's sitting in my sewing box. Excuse me. So I'm looking to do things that I can use. So, excuse me. So that's why I'm doing this series called Slow Stitching Saturday, and I know it's Friday for everybody in the Northern Hemisphere, but it's Saturday for me because I'm in the future. I admire you doing it. I've started a couple of slow stitching, but always choose the sewing machine over hand stitching. Yeah, I'm actually making the conscious effort and decision to do this by hand. So that's why I'm not doing this off screen or anything like that, because I think I would be tempted to use the sewing machine. And that's another reason why I decided to have this series called Slow Stitching Saturday, because it holds me accountable. Now, I just have to cough, so I'm just going to mute for a second. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, I'm back. Just had to have a little bit of a coughing fit there. So yeah, that I just wanted to slow things down. This year is about going a little bit slower, like even for the channel as well. Like a lot of the stuff that you're going to see will be me making stuff and all that sort of stuff, but there will be less tutorials. I was going to be doing the A to Z quilt block challenge again. I decided that I'm going to hold off for a year before I do that again. And I'm probably going to just alternate that, just do it every second year. So this year I thought that I might do a few vlog styles. I'm going to focus on my whips that I have, try and get them down. I took January off from doing all that stuff. So I'm going to have a new segment on the channel that essentially is like my floss tube, but it's going to be about my quilting and stuff like that, because I have quite a number of projects here that need to be finished, and I figured I could just pull them out and I can do a little bit of stitching on them. So the first video, excuse me, will probably go up this Thursday maybe. I've got a couple of little bits and pieces, but I'm thinking it might be this Thursday, but don't hold me to that. I will get it up as soon as I can. And excuse me, I don't know why my throat is so croaky today. I hope I'm not getting sick. That's all I need. Yeah, so basically I'm just, because I've just started doing it and all that sort of stuff, I want to I wanted to take a break in January and then come back in February rested and ready to go into the quilting thing, because to be honest, I haven't really been feeling my quilting stuff in the last 6 months. So this has been a great way to get back into it. It's sort of motivated me, and I started this in December. And then of course I do a lot in December and all that sort of stuff. So I got a little bit burnout there. So when I'm starting to feel a little bit burnout, I'm just taking time and relaxing, and knowing it's okay to take some time for me and not having to push through so much and tire myself out even more. So that has been a really good thing. And so that's where I decided that I was going to essentially do the quilt tube, and and get some of these things that are sitting in boxes to be done finished, because what's the point of starting all the things and not finishing them? So that is sort of what I'm doing this year, and so I'm going to bring you along for that journey to get all the things done. And hopefully we can get some stuff finished that I've had sitting there. Because I mean, Benita, you've been around for a while, so you remember when I used to do the Finish It Friday. That's I'm going to put it up on Thursdays, but I'm thinking that I might actually bring that back again. And I don't know, like I'm in two minds. I just don't know what to do, whether I just not worry about it. But I'm thinking that I should probably bring back that Finish It Friday, because the simple fact is that was really motivating for me to get stuff finished. Because remember, I finished most of my market stuff and my step through stuff and all that sort of thing. So I'm thinking that that's what I need to do now let me just make sure that I've got this going on the right way. Which way are those? This is the way. It doesn't matter which way they go, because they're going all different directions, so it doesn't matter. All right, just double checking. So basically that's what I thought I would do, is bring back the Finish It Friday. I think that will work well. So maybe I need to change my stitch with me to Thursdays or Tuesdays. I don't know. We'll see how we go. I'm sure I'll work it out. All right, let me see what else was happening. Oh, yep, sorry. Sorry, hit the wrong key. Thanks for the book information. No problem. No worries. If you've got any other questions, sure, just ask them. Yep, I was thinking about Finish It Friday. It was so fun. It was a lot of fun. It was good because like I had no idea that was when Beck was still living in Kingaroy and here. So like I had no idea what I was going to get from one week to the next. So it was a lot of fun. So I'm thinking that I might bring that back, but it'll just be like the Quilttube edition of it. I don't know, because like it's not essentially going to be a live stream as such. It's definitely going to be a video. So I think that that might be, yeah, I'll just do the vlog style stuff and then just put it up as a Finish It Friday vlog. Quilttube edition. So there's going to be a lot of that sort of stuff this year because I'm just really going to get my stuff done, and work on it when I can and put something together. I don't know whether it'll be a weekly thing because, I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get stuff done. So we'll see how we go with that. But it'll find its footing and all that sort of stuff. It will definitely find its footing, and I'll be able to but it's food for thought, right? You just sometimes it's hard to get my my brain to function, and especially when I'm trying to formulate a schedule and all that sort of stuff. I do like slow stitching, and nice to see this again. Awesome. I like it too. I wasn't a fan a long time ago. I wasn't a fan. But I was also time poor then too. I have one child left at home, and she is leaving home around August, September, because she's getting transferred to a new town for her job as a manager. And so, but she can't transfer until she's 18. So they're training her here for her job where she'll manage her own store with a couple of other managers, but she'll be essentially, she'll be managing the store. Because I mean, one manager can't manage a store that's open for, 16 hours a day. Or whatever, because they open at 6 a.m. I believe, and they close at 11. Is that right? 10, 11? Here they close, but I think where she's going, they close at 11. So, so she's doing all her training here. And then she'll go over there. So essentially, I'll be an empty nester, so I've got a little bit more time to get things done. So I'm not looking forward to it, having no one in the house, but it is what it is. Life, it's life. It's just what happens, So, so that's why I'm slowing things down. And then I thought this year I'll get some stuff done and, just do all the things that need to be done, right? Get my projects finished and all of that sort of stuff. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see these quilts come together. And as I said, I'm not doing them as live streams or anything like that, like I used to, but I will definitely be filming during the week. And, some weeks I might have a month where I have something coming out, something coming out every week, and then other times it'll be, maybe a fortnight, or it might be 3 weeks. So it'll be regular for the most part. But some things will just take a little bit longer to, to get finished and all that sort of stuff. So, because they've got more to do and all that, but I can still do updates and all that sort of stuff each week, I guess. I don't know. I think I might set it up like a floss tube scenario where we have a bit of the vlog stuff, and then I'll talk about what I've done and all that. So, yeah, it's a work in progress. Cool. I'll be looking forward to it. Thank you. So do you think you'll feel like an empty nester when she transfers? Probably not, because just some of the things I've got happening this year, I'm busier than ever. Like, even though I'm slowing down, I still am, like, I've still got a lot going on. I do have, like, I'm going away for 3 weeks to babysit little M, because she's just started school and her mum's got to go away for personal reasons over to, she's a birthing partner for her best friend. Her best friend's single and has no one close to her. Everybody lives either on this side of the country or they live at the top end of the country, and no one's close to her, and they don't have holidays up their sleeve and all that sort of stuff to be a birthing partner. So my eldest asked me if I could go to her place. Can I have Mia for 3 weeks? And I said, well, it's the beginning of the school year. I probably should come down and stay there. So I can, there's that sort of side of things now. And, my social aspect has also picked up as well. Like, I've got a group of women that I stitch with every week on a Friday. And, I'm doing a little bit more over on Instagram with sales. Like, we've got a massive sale happening at the moment for the cross stitch Quaker flags from the Vistas and on Etsy. And so we've got that happening, and there's just lots of little things happening, which reminds me, Gail, I will get onto those extra flags that, if you're still here, I'll get onto those extra flags this morning after I'm finished here and get them up, because I've got to do a whole heap of paperwork and everything this morning. I was supposed to do it yesterday, and it just didn't happen. So I've got paperwork and stuff to do today, so I'm going to do that and get that sorted and get those pictures up and into the Facebook group and whatnot, get those all happening and get more people to join the flag sale. So if you're looking for the flag sale, it's over on Instagram. It's hashtag 2024 Quaker Flag Sale, SAL. And yeah, that you'll see all the progress and all the rest of it. And it is the flags of the world. So it's not just the American flag or the Australian flag. It is like my Instagram right now looks like the United Nations. There are that many flags on it. Gail's looks exactly the same as well. And we've had like Zoom meetings for catch-ups and all that sort of stuff. But there's a whole heap of information on my bio. If you click the link, it'll take you to the useful links. There's a Zoom meeting form to fill out for our meetups. We do a meetup once a month and just touch base and see how we're going and all that sort of stuff. So be sure to check all the information out. You might have to scroll down to the very first post, because the very first flag, I think it was the Canadian flag that I put up. I can't remember now, but that had all the information on it. But if you go and check it all out, it's all there and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. And I've got like a couple of retreats to go to. Like, I've got 3 retreats this year to go to, all of which are away from home as well. So which is great. Like, I'm actually traveling. I'm not running them. And to be honest, I don't know if I am actually going to be running retreats for a little while. I'm not feeling it right now. Savannah wants me to and all that sort of stuff, but I said to her, I'm just not feeling it. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do there. A few people have asked me if I'm going to run them again, and I do want to, but I'm just not feeling it right now. So I don't know. It's just where I'm at right now, And if I'm not feeling something, you probably really shouldn't do it, right? As they say. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at with everything. And as I said, I'm having a lot of fun doing this by hand. And it's not. I thought it would take so much longer. Like, when you think about it, like, I have just spent a little bit of time here and there. Like, there's some places, like, I think that, you could get really intricate with some stuff and that could take you a long time to do. But something simple like this, if I wasn't doing it as a live stream, I could definitely do this in a weekend. And really get some enjoyment out of it. Not only that, it's quite portable as well. So I don't have to worry about the sewing machine or anything. I can just go and hang in the lounge room with the family, watch a movie, do a little bit of stitching while we're watching the movie. And because, I don't do a lot if we're watching a movie, but you sort of get sucked into it and whatnot. But, if I wanted to sit in there and Brendan was watching something that I wasn't really interested in, then, I can take this in there and I can still make something useful. And, yeah, it wouldn't take me long at all. So there's that. And the fact that I can just pick up this and I can have a little tin. It's got one clips in it, but I could have a little tin to have, some needles, a little pair of scissors in there, a needle minder, and a spool of thread. Chuck it all in a little drawstring bag, and away I go. I don't have to worry about a sewing machine or anything like that. And I think, after so many years of being at the sewing machine and doing sewing tutorials and all the rest of it, I think this is just a nice break. For me, like, I just find it to be really relaxing, and honestly, I know that there's some people that watch me that know me from my town and stuff like that used to come to classes, and I would avoid hand stitching like the plague, like including embroidery and stuff like that. So I'm guessing that they're sitting there going, "Oh my goodness," on that. But I admit that I was not a hand stitcher. I didn't have the time for it. Like, I had young kids and all that sort of stuff. I just didn't have the time for sitting down and doing that stuff. Any sort of free time I had went into, sewing tutorials and all that sort of stuff back then. And, or, just entertaining the kids and doing extracurricular activities and all of those things. So, but now I have a little bit more time. The girls, I don't have to drive the girls anywhere because Savannah's off at university, so she doesn't even live at home anymore. She's got her license, and Narrowlee just recently in September got her license. So I don't need to be in the passenger seat anymore. Although I do miss I never thought I'd say this, I'll tell you. I do miss going on the drives with Narrowlee because, oh my God, they were funny. Not at her poor driving or anything, but just the conversations we had. It was really good. We got a lot of one-on-one time, and now she just doesn't seem to have time for me at all. So it's like I'm barely to get a word out of her. But anyway, which is a little bit disappointing, but she's busy. She's doing her thing. She's getting on with the business of living and adulting and all that sort of stuff. And she's kicking goals she's in a job that maybe not be the one that she sticks to for the rest of the life, but she's getting the training that she needs. She will go places. Like, she's 17 and they're training her to manage a store because she has those capabilities. And I'm not just saying that because she's my daughter. She's always been like that. One of the things that her teachers used to always say to us when we went up to parent teacher night was that Nerily is a born leader. She will lead, like, she can get people to do things that she needs them to do. She organizes the classroom. One teacher said, "She's absolutely fantastic. How did you get her to be like this?" It's just her personality. She's always been like, she's a bossy little thing. When she was little, sometimes she'd try and boss me, and I just look down at her and I'm like, "Excuse me? What are we talking about right now?" And yeah, so she's always been like that. And so it's really good that she has fallen, like, she went into this job, she applied for it, she was working at a different place. This place was brand new, opening up. And because she was working at the other place, she wasn't able to go to too many trainings. She went to 2 trainings, and then open day was bedlam. And one of the big bosses were in there. So one of the CEOs of the of Queensland chains that was in there and was watching what was going on. And and they knew that she'd only been to 2 training sessions. And they were watching her, how she was able to keep people moving. Like, people were standing around, were a little bit like overwhelmed by how busy it was and all that sort of stuff. And basically she just got in there and, like, right, you do this, you do that, you do this, here, you on here, you keep this, you stay with this person, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, so it's quite interesting that they seen that, and within a week of her being there, they started training her to run shifts and all that sort of stuff. So she got in there and she just did her thing and didn't want to be there until, the wee hours of the morning. She just wanted to get in and get the job done, and that's exactly what she did, and it worked out for her. So And even one of the managers that went with all the kids to train them, because they had to go to another store to train because we didn't have a store here. So they had to go a few hours away to train. So they hired a bus and they took them all over. And even one of the managers said, we did not think you were going to do well because you only came to 2 trainings. She goes, well, it's not rocket science. Like, it's just, yeah. She works well with systems and all that sort of stuff. And she's good at getting people to do things on that. So if she can work it to her advantage, that's a good thing, I guess, in a way. I'm glad I don't work for her, though. That's all I can say. She's not that bad. No, she's not that bad. She's fine. But she used to do it with her sisters all the time. That when they were young, on every Saturday, because they were home and they didn't have sport or anything on, they all had their jobs, all their chores that they had to do. So I never used to really make them do chores during the week, except for, like set the table and stuff like that. Take the rubbish out and everything. But on the Saturdays, we'd do a massive clean of the house. So, and she was always like, she was on them. Anytime her elder sister stopped working, she'd be like, what are you doing? This job that needs to get done. I want to go out and play. We need to get our stuff done. And she would. I'd be doing my stuff because I would also clean as well. Everybody had a room that we rotated around in and whatnot. And I did like all the big stuff, like all the high stuff and whatnot. They had their little lists of how to clean the kitchen and all that sort of stuff and how to clean a bathroom, and they had those lists in there. But I would go into each room with them and stuff like that. The kitchen one, my eldest daughter did that one a lot because she didn't like doing the kitchen, but she felt that was the easiest because I would mop the floors. She had to do it once a month, but I would mop the floors 3 times a month, every weekend. And because we've got tiles, so we don't have carpet or anything like that. Nerily, would come out and help because she was the littlest. Savannah always liked doing the bathroom. So they could pick and choose, but they had to pull it out of a hat of what they got. But most times they just go, oh, well, I'll just do this, and they'd work it. And I said, look, I don't care. If you want to swap, that's fine. But you have to do the job properly. The lists are there. These are the things that have to be done in it, and all that sort of stuff. And so they had their little checklists and they'd do their thing. And then I'd go in behind them because, they were kids. They weren't going to do it perfectly and stuff like that. But it was teaching them that this is how you maintain your house. This is how you keep things clean and all that sort of stuff. It was more of a teaching experience than them actually doing anything. But Nerily would always get cranky with them if they were too slow because even now she's like that. She basically go into my lounge room and it's like I'd gone in there and cleaned it, and that was at 4 and 5 she was doing that because I'd just get her to go in there and like straighten up the cushions, and I'd give her a dust rag and wouldn't expect it to be clean. But she'd go and get the stool and she'd get up and because she'd watched me do it, I guess, and so she was doing it like how I was. Could I get her to do that now? Probably not. But yeah, and they had to take care of their rooms and all that sort of stuff, and I'd go in and help them. And as they got older, it was wholly their responsibility. If you don't want me in your room, clean it properly, and then I won't have to go into your room. Make sure that you bring out all your washing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and again, they had little lists of things that have to be maintained and taken care of, and what you need to do, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but Nerily has always been like that. I think the only person she's never been able to get motivated to do anything is Mia, because Mia is stubborn as a mule. If she doesn't want to do something, she ain't doing it. That simple. I think I'm about the only one that she tries it, and I just look at her and go, really? Is that how we're going to play it today? No, Mima, I'll go and do it. It's fine. But she's a very helpful child too. Like, she likes to take the rubbish out. She loves taking the wheelie bin out once a week. She'll come out and pass me pegs while I'm hanging out the washing, and like, she's always helpful. She'll come and help me cook dinner. But I don't I don't worry about it if she doesn't want to do anything. It's not my responsibility to teach her. She can learn from watching, but she's pretty free and easy with how she wants to do things and stuff like that. So she'll just come out and help you, and she's got no qualms with that at all. But it's feeling a bit weird because there's no children here, and when I first left home, I was living with my best friend, and then I moved in with another friend, and she had a child. So I've pretty much had children around me since I was 17. So it's a little bit weird to be at 53 and not have anybody around me. And it's like, this is so weird. Like, I don't know. Like, you're so used to being a mom, and you're so used to getting up and doing things, and you know, like even now with buying groceries and stuff, Nerily doesn't want me to buy her any groceries, or she doesn't want anything, like doesn't want me to cook for her or anything like that. And it's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've raised really independent children, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I see these other mums and, you know, and grandmas and stuff like that, where they're like, well, I mean, Mia lives 3 hours away from me. She goes to school and all that sort of stuff. So like that's fine. And I'm going down to spend time with her, and she comes and visits us and all that sort of stuff. And that's great. But I'm just talking about like the day-to-day stuff. You know, I see people that, you know, live close to their grandkids, and they see them on the daily, and, you know, they have their kids come over, and they, you know, the mums are doing stuff for their kids and all that sort of stuff. And here I am, I've got these 3 daughters, and they're all independent, and they seem like they don't need my help. I mean, there's going to come a time when they do. Like, my eldest now is saying, you know, Mum, I really need you to come down and look after Mia, and, you know, I've got this on, can you take her for this? And like, she's involving us in her life a lot more, which is great, and whatnot. I mean, and Savannah, she comes home to visit all the time, but she comes here to relax. She doesn't even come here really. I see her on the first day she gets here, and I see her for about half an hour on the last day, and then the rest of the time she's just doing what she used to do when she lived at home: hide out in her room on her reading devices, or with a book in hand, or doing some study and stuff like that. So she, but I don't really see much of her, but that's it. But she's been crafting a lot too, and we've got. She said that she's been taking some footage and stuff of the things that she's been crafting to share with the Savannah's Crafty Corner over on Patreon. So that's been a nice little thing that's come out of her going to uni. She realizes that she needs to have that little break time, and so she's using that break time to craft. So this year she's done some crochet. She's just her lounge room has just been built, because she's sharing she's at a house with some friends of ours, and they have built her like a little granny flat in they've got this massive 6-car shed. Like, it's huge. It's massive. It's like a block of units almost. It's that big. And he's got like his boat and his car and everything. Well, it's got a mezzanine floor that had a couple of rooms built in it. One was an office, and downstairs there's like a lounge room area and a little kitchenette and everything that they put in for her. But because she's going to be there for a while, and they've got another baby coming, and he drives a truck and all that sort of stuff, the downstairs, and his cousin's living there, or his nephew or something is now living there. They've built a kitchen upstairs for her, and a little lounge room area on the mezzanine floor. So so she's got a room. His room is also up there, but his area is downstairs, and he's not to go in her area on that. And so she's sort of like a live-in babysitter as well, or nanny, or whatever you want to call it, au pair. And she babysits their kids for them. And so they're really looking after her. Like, she's really done well. Like, she was happy with just the room and have downstairs with the little kitchenette and all that sort of stuff. She was happy with that. But they said, no, we want you to be nice and comfortable. So they've built a little room upstairs. So she's got a couch in there. She's got a couple of bookshelves in there, coffee table. She's coming up to pick up her TV this week, because I think this is her last week or second last week. No, it's her last week before orientation, before they start back at uni. So her TV's here, so she's going to come and get that. And she's got a little table. So she's freed up some room in the bedroom part of it. She's still got like her little library corner in there, and she's got another little section. She's got a ton of books, so she's got another section out in the lounge room. But she's been doing some painting and stuff like that too, for her lounge room. So she has an aesthetic. It's not pleasing to everybody, but she has an aesthetic that she likes. And so she's creating her own artwork for it, and embroidery stuff, and like she's doing a lot of different things at the moment, which is great because she's got that creative outlet. I don't know how much more will continue throughout the year, because I mean it is her second year. I'm expecting that it's going to get a little bit hectic. Apparently this year she doesn't have placement, but she's got placement early next year. So yeah, she said there was something that they had to do and they didn't do, or they decided to put it off, because she did tell me, but to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure what she was talking about. Didn't quite understand what she was talking about, because I mean I've never been to uni, so I don't understand how they structure it or anything like that, and whatnot. But yeah, today she's off with her aunt and uncle. They've come up from Adelaide, and they're doing a walking tour of Brisbane, apparently. So Travis and Diana, my brother and sister-in-law, they love walking everywhere. Like they go to places, they'll drive to places, and then they'll walk around the place to get to know it. So they're doing a walking tour of Brisbane, and I think they might even be going to the art museum and whatnot, because there's a fairy tales thing. I actually want to go and see it with Mia when I'm down there. It goes till April, so I'm going to go and see that. I've got another thing happening in March as well while I'm down there. I'm going to meet an author, R.F. Kwong. She wrote Babel, a Yellow Face, and a couple other things as well. So I'm going to meet her in person. So we've bought those tickets. Savannah and I are going to meet up. I've organised a babysitter for Mia that night, and we're going to meet up and go and see her, because Savannah does writing sometimes, and there's a writers festival happening in Brisbane at the moment, and the author's going to be there. So yeah, so I only have one question for her. How do you say the title of your book? Is it Babel or is it Babel? Over on Booktube, everybody says it Babel. That I think it's Babel because of the because of some history and whatnot. But anyway, I could be wrong. Benita would like to know what is placement. So Savannah is studying to be a science teacher and English teacher, and so she has to do placement in schools to get hands-on experience and how it all works and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, she's in her second year of university, and she was supposed to have, the whole second year is not having it. It's not just her, it's the second year of uni. They're not doing placement. They were supposed to do placement every year, and I believe this is the second year that they've done it. So normally it's not until your third and fourth year, apparently, but last year they incorporated that teaching students had to do placement every year, and it's, I think it was 15 days she did in her first year, and it progressively gets longer each year, apparently. I'm probably wrong on that, but yeah, I wouldn't quote me on that, but yeah. But for some reason, they're not doing the second year placement for some reason, whether that's because they didn't have enough spots to play, which I would find highly unlikely. And that, but yeah, so she's really happy where she's at. She's doing her crafting and all that sort of stuff. She's always been my crafty girl, that, as most of you probably know. But we've also done some bookish stuff. At the end of last year, we went on a bit of a bookshop crawl across southeast Queensland, which was a lot of fun, all the secondhand bookstores. So that's been a lot of fun. How wonderful this family is looking out for your daughter and giving her personal space. How thoughtful and kind. Yeah, it is. We've known them for quite some time, and Savannah's not real good with social situations and stuff like that. And at first she was there by herself, and then the nephew came, and unexpectedly, and that sort of sent Savannah in a bit of a tailspin. Like she got a bit upset, and she came home for 3 weeks. And look, and we just said to her, look, if you can't do it, you just tell us, and we'll work something out. That worst case scenario, you can go. I'm sure there's a couple of my friends, or that I know down there, that you can go and stay overnight, and you can just go do your classes, because most of her classes are close anyway, and then the rest of the stuff she does online, her assignments and stuff get done online. So we could do a workaround for sure. But and I just said to her, though, you need to go and speak to them and just tell them how you feel, and explain to them why you were living there, why you chose there, how you felt, and all that sort of stuff. She had a panic attack. Like, she rang me when it happened, and she was barely breathing on the phone. Like, I'm like, breathe, slow your breathing down, trying to talk her through it, and whatnot. And then I said, look, I'm going to put you on hold for a second. I'm going to call Dad and just tell him what's going on. Okay. And so, I rang Brad and I said, look, this is what's happening. I'm like, can you ring Andrew or something and find out what the deal is? I'm trying to talk Savannah through a panic attack right now. So her friend ended up coming and getting her when it first happened, that she goes to uni with, and her mum came with her, and it was so sweet of them. They came and picked her up, and her friend's mum came with her to pick Savannah up, and then drove Savannah's car back to their place so she could go there and relax and just process it, because it was a shock. It was a shock not just for Savannah, it was a shock for everybody. But Savannah's never lived with brothers either. Like, she's only ever lived with Brendan. She's never had brothers. She's had her sisters, and she's never lived like in close proximity to guys or anything like that. So it like freaked her out, because he was a stranger as well, didn't know him, never met him before, and he was going to be sleeping essentially next door and living with her. And she was like, what the? And it sent her into a tailspin. Anyway, I managed to convince her to, she went to her friends, and she stayed there for 3 days until she calmed down, and whatnot. And she kept in contact with me. And then once she calmed down and she knew that she could have a normal conversation, she went and seen the people and just said, hey, what is going on? And the lady said, she goes, we didn't even know he was coming. She said, we didn't, when he turned up here and he said he was going to be living here, that she goes, we didn't know what to do. His family, like, they can't turn him away. It's their nephew. And Savannah's like, well, okay, cool, no worries. Like, what's the living situation going to be? Like, what do I need to do? She goes, I don't know if I'm going to be able to cope with this. And then they sort of panicked and said, no, you don't. No, he can work around you. And that's when they said, look, we would rather have you here, to be honest, than him. And I'm like, well, that's nice to know, but he is family. And I kept saying that to her. It's their family. You can't, you're not family. You're not going to be high on the priority, and all this sort of stuff. And I was trying to talk her through it, because I mean, that's generally the reality of it. But they said no. They brought the contractor in, and they got it all measured up, and that happened at the end of November. And the lounge room and the kitchenette upstairs, so she's got her own space. He still has his room up there, but she's got her own bathroom up there, her own lounge room, and her own kitchen. And he has downstairs, and he has got a kitchen and a toilet downstairs, and he has a shower that's just outside the shed. So he's not using any of her space. So they came to a happy medium, and they were happy to do it. Because they know that he's not going to be there forever. Not forever, but Savannah's going to be there for 4 years. So they want to make sure, and she's helping out, and they're about to have another baby. And, it's been the owner of the wife of the owner has high blood pressure and that. So it's been good to have Savannah there just to take the kids, outside to play and all that sort of stuff. And she's happy to do it, because the kids are pretty much self-sufficient. So she'll sit there and read, or she'll read a book to them, or she'll just sit on the couch and watch TV with them. And anybody that's a mum here knows that 5 minutes just stepping away from your little ones, because they're both under 5. I think the little boy just turned 2 and the little girl is just turned 4. So they're both under 5, and the little boy is a little boy. He's boisterous and he's full on and all that sort of stuff. So she's helping out, and because she's had experience with Mia and stuff like that, and it's good experience for her too. So So she helps them out where she can, and they're really looking after her, which is absolutely fabulous, which also made it a lot easier for us, because if it was Neroli, we'd have no problems with Neroli moving out. She will just land on her feet. She's very confident. She is confident in social situations. She stands up for herself, whereas Savannah's a different creature. She's very quiet, withdrawn, timid, keeps to herself. She's a lot like me. You know, she can be a chatty Cathy like I can and all that sort of stuff, but for the most part, we're very comfortable with our own company. Her and I can be in the house together for days on end, and we know that each other's there, but we don't feel the need to keep each other company. We just know that we're there on that. So, which can be problematic for a lot of my friends, because I do forget to check in with my friends because I forget. That's just who I am. Most of my friends know this about me these days, but because I'm not that friend that's going to remember to ring you every day. But I do try to force myself to remember. I do try. And like most of my friends know, I'm on YouTube, so if you want to see how I'm doing, they just come over to YouTube, essentially. That's what happens. But it's really good. Like and she's also, where she lives, it's gated, so random people just can't turn up or anything like that. So it's very secure for her and all that sort of stuff. And she's got air conditioning, and it's not overly massive, but it's a nice little like granny flat for her. She can have all her things, and that was her main concern. She goes, when they were building the lounge room, she goes, "Oh, I don't know if it's for both of us." I'm like, Savannah, you're a big girl now. You can ask these questions. It's not rude to ask, because she goes, I don't want to furnish it because he smokes, and she doesn't want a smoker sitting on her furniture because she can't stand the smell of it. Like, it actually makes her feel sick. That the smell of it. Like, even when we go to the supermarket, like, she covers her mouth and she walks in because it just makes her feel really sick. And she goes, I'm buying brand new furniture. I don't want my brand new furniture to smell like cigarette smoke. I said, well, the only way you can do this is you need to ask. I said, that's all you need to do. Just go, hey, I'm just a little bit curious. How's this going to work? I don't even know his name. So-and-so and I going to be sharing this lounge room? Is it my personal space? What's the deal? And they said, no, it is purely for you. He has been told that he's not allowed to use anything. The only thing that he's allowed to do is walk past your lounge room to his bedroom. And that. So, I couldn't get away because I had stuff on up here. Brendan was down in Brisbane, and he had the truck down there. So he took her to IKEA and went and got her, and to, I don't know where else they went. I think they went to Harvey Norman or something like that. But got her a fridge, and got her, because she didn't have a fridge, because I had a fridge downstairs in the original lounge room she was in. Got her a fridge, got her a new couch, got her a couple of extra bookshelves, and a couple of little smaller bookshelves and like cube shelves. So she got all those, and she was pretty happy. And she sent me through pictures the other day. They're a bit dark, so when I go down, she doesn't take a good picture, my girl. When I go down, I'll get some better pictures of it, and you can see how it's all set up, because she didn't even send me the kitchen. That she's got her own bathroom with a toilet and a shower upstairs and everything. So she can go up there and she can study and she can just relax and do her thing and not have to worry about anything. But she has calmed down somewhat that she's living with a guy now, which is good. Because I can tell you, she was beside herself. Whew. I don't think I've ever seen a young girl go so sideways so quick. But it is what it is. I said to her, you're going to have to get used to it. You're going to be working with people. You're going to have to interact with the human race sooner or later, other than your family. Whatnot. So, yeah. But anyway, all right. I have been prattling on for some time. Oh, wow, an hour and a half. Well, there you go. Look at that. Time flies when you're just prattling on. All right, I have got a few things to do before the day is out, and I've got to get down to the shops and everything. I live in a small country town, so everything closes pretty early. So I've got to get down there and get all that done. So I better make a move to get off the internet before I have to get back onto a friend's channel later on tonight. and whatnot. Going to go hang out for Sprints After Dark, which are very unhinged. But as you can see, we have our little borders going on. I've only got this section down here. I've just got to add a little bit onto this one, but I've only got this section to do, and then the borders are on. So next week when we come back, I will probably just hand stitch these down first off, and then I will basically iron on the interfacing and all that sort of stuff before I stitch them down, and then we can start doing the big stitch quilting. Now I do have to go and get a air erasable marker. I thought I had one here, but oh yeah, I do actually. I think it's in my bedroom. I want to get an air erasable marker and mark a 1/4 inch around the outside of the Christmas trees, because I want it to look even, and then I'm going to do a running stitch. Now I'm not real good with my running stitch, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not super concerned if it looks absolutely perfect, because this is all made by hand and whatnot, but I'm liking it. So you can see there, I've just got that little section to go. That won't take me long. I've just got to find another piece that is big enough, because last week I sewed on a piece and it was just a little bit too small. So yeah, I'm just going to go through my scraps and find that extra bit and put that on. But yeah, I'll give it a really good press. I'll press it all from the backside, like the seams. I'll get them to all set and everything. It's just like if I'm sewing with a sewing machine, I have to set the seams and all that, and then put the fusible fleece on, and then we'll be ready to do the big stitch quilting, which will be exciting, because that means that we're getting really close to the end. I think we'll probably only have maybe 3 more weeks of this, so by the end of February we should be done. Maybe the first week of March. We'll see how we go, because I don't know how long it's going to take me to do the big stitch quilting. It shouldn't take me too long on that. So yeah. Benita says, I'm glad it was all sorted out. Yeah, so are we. Like, whew, mate, we were on the shuffle, I tell you. Thank you. We were on the shuffle to try and work out how we can do it. We organised in the afternoon that it all went down. We had pretty much organised another place for her to stay, which was down at Pimpamar. They've got a large property there, and Brennan was just going to buy her a camper, like a tiny home or a camper van or something like that. So yeah, so we had it all sorted out and all the rest of it, but we didn't have to go that way, which was good. So yeah. Nana says, you have brought a smile to me. Oh, that's lovely. Love the chat and meeting you and your channel and family. Have a great week, everybody. Well, thank you for joining, and I appreciate all the comments and everything, and hopefully I'll see you back here next week. If not, I'll see you in some of the comments, no doubt, on the channel, especially since there is a lot of content on here for you to watch. So that is a lot of me to watch in. So you could go down a rabbit hole a bit. But I do thank you for joining, and I appreciate it. You may come across some of my floss tube, which has a lady named Beck. Used to be on the channel with me. She no longer lives in Kingaroy, so that's why she's not part of the channel anymore. So if that may be a question that comes up, because it does come up from time to time with new people. So yeah, so just be aware of that. So yeah, but I am going to head off and finish off my lovely Saturday before I have to do some chit-chatting again tonight. I hope that you all have a wonderfully crafty day, and you get either stitches in, or you sew something beautiful, or you just relax and enjoy your family. I really do appreciate each and every one of you being here, and I will be back next week for another Slow Stitching Saturday. And of course, I will be here with Stitch With Me's floss tubes. Hopefully, fingers crossed that I get some more stitching in, because right now I've only stitched on one bing. And anything else that comes my way, I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.